Hello, my fellow concerned friends. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I just want to take a minute and acknowledge my leave of absence, even if you have not, and apologize. The balance between being a full-time stay-at-home mom and also trying to become some sort of full-time content creator is not one that I was expecting to be so challenging, but let it be known, I will figure it out. But unfortunately for you guys, first and foremost, my kids will always come first. I'm so sorry. Motherhood's been kicking my rear in particular one week, and I'm MIA. Just know it's that motherhood is kicking my rear and I'm having to adjust myself. I also just want to take a second to thank all of you guys for subscribing and being here. 44,000 subscribers is absolutely mind-blowing. And some good news when it comes to my channel is that I actually have a first sponsor, possibly. So be expecting that in a future video. That's really exciting. And I just really want to, I feel like I just don't say it enough how much I appreciate you guys being here, listening to me, and giving me this opportunity to have this platform. And as always, like, my goal with this platform is to be able to use the negative and bad experiences that I've had to hopefully make people feel less alone, hopefully make people realize, oh, what I went through actually wasn't normal and I do deserve support. I do deserve help. That's my goal as always. And I couldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to do that if you guys didn't give me this opportunity, if you guys didn't tune in every single time I post. So with that being said, I'm going to ask you guys to please tune in on this video and go ahead and give it a like. As you have things that you might want to add to the conversation, drop them down below in the comments, and please subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. It genuinely helps me so much with this channel. I think that it would be really cool if we could hit 100K by the end of this year. Like, we have the whole rest of this year to get there. So if you want to be involved in that, that would be really awesome. And if you like my content and never want to miss out on when I post, go ahead and ring that bell so that you're notified every single time I post. And with all of that being said, my fellow concerned friends, today we are talking about Megan Gower. Oh, tune in. Here we go. As always, I've got my notes. I've got 1 page of notes, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get into this. You might be asking yourself, who is Megan Gower? And I was asking myself that exact same thing when I saw a video come across my For You page on TikTok of this woman bullying her daughter simply because her daughter wanted to make bracelets. And before we go any further, I just want to stop and go ahead and give a trigger warning. The content in this video probably will not be easy to watch. It does depict child abuse, pitting siblings against each other, verbal abuse, and even physical abuse of children. So I just wanted to go ahead and give that warning now, because I will be inserting clips as it adds to this conversation at hand.
Can you open this?
What is this? Absolutely not right now.
It's right.
What the fuck is it? It's the girl. This is bracelets. We don't have the time for that. We can do it tonight.
Can you just open it?
No, because you can have that shit everywhere.
No, I won't. Open it. Give me it.
I'm not opening it.
it.
I'm not opening
And
it.
I'll open it.
Go ahead, try.
I can.
Okay, period. Get out of my room with it.
Riley, not right now, baby.
No,
I'm opening it.
I done told her no.
Punk, we're going to.
Riley, you're not making.
Don't start, Riley.
Girl, I will smack this motherfucker upside your
Give
head.
me mine.
We're
I'll
going
take it
to
back.
Monster Jam.
Give me it. Give me it. Give me it. Give me it.
Get out.
Give me it. It's mine. Give me it. Give me it.
Get out of my room.
Give me it.
Touch me again.
Mommy, touch me. Give me it.
Touch me again.
Mommy, touch me.
Get out of my damn room.
What can I get?
Yeah. I'm so glad you're so nice and like your motherfucking sister.
So in this video, we can see Megan talking to her daughter, who is simply asking to be able to make bracelets. And Megan has a problem with this because in Megan's mind, she feels that her daughter's just going to make a big mess and she's just going to ruin, I guess, the house with the bracelet making supplies. And I personally find this video extremely, this clip extremely hard to watch because you can see her daughter, basically pleading and saying no, I'm not going to make a mess. I'm not going to do those things. Please just trust me. And it feels like when you watch this clip that Megan is kind of taunting her. It feels like a taunt. Like, I'm basically hovering this right in front of your face and I'm not going to let you have it. And to make matters worse, she then ends up talking to her son and basically like compares the two siblings, which if you've been in this position as a sibling, you can understand how, damaging this is and, like how wrong this is to do. But if you haven't, let me explain it to you. Basically, when she is talking to the son, she says, "I'm so glad you're so nice, unlike your sister." And mind you, sister was literally within earshot. And even if she wasn't within earshot, mom turns to like scream this to make sure that she hears this. And if you're not understanding how this is damaging and how this is super abusive and toxic, let me explain it to you a little bit, if I may, okay? This creates a dynamic where sister is the scapegoat and brother is the golden child. Brother can do nothing wrong, and brother is the ideal specimen of a human being. And so now mom's going to constantly be comparing sister to brother, and brother's gonna possibly get this like superiority complex, like I can do no wrong. And it's going to kind of be like solidified in his mind that sister is the problem. It's not mom and dad and the way mom and dad are handling this, it's sister. She is the problem. I think I would say that my stepdad treated me better than my brothers, but I think that's an obvious given why. But as far as my mom went, I feel like she didn't really like give my brothers special treatment, but I absolutely was the scapegoat of the family, and my little brother grew up to be the golden child. And to this day, despite him witnessing actual abuse, for instance, he witnessed his father strangling me. He believes that I am the problem. Even to this day, he thinks that I am the problem. Like, I deserved that strangulation. Like, I deserved everything that happened to me because I was just so bad. And now my brother won't testify on behalf of me. He won't support me and be on my side to get the actual problem taken care of because they have created this world where I am the problem. And I'm not saying that, we'll get into more things later, and I'm not saying that their situation is my situation. I'm just trying to show you guys how this dynamic can really hurt the scapegoated child, not even just now, but even in the future. And in my opinion, Megan is not the sole issue because the father is in the picture as well. In fact, he is in the room while this is happening, and he even looks at the daughter and says something along the lines of like, "Don't start," which tells me that this is a behavior that she does a lot, that they don't like. And this is their way of like shutting it down before it escalates. That was his way of kind of like managing the situation without actually having to get his hands dirty.
Don't start, right?
Girl,
And that's important to note because later on we're going to see that Megan claims that what we saw in this 10-minute live is not their normal day-to-day life at all. And she was actually just extremely overstimulated and was having a really bad day. But I protest that. I say I don't believe that because of the reactions, or I should say lack thereof, of the children and the spouse around her when she is acting this way. If this was abnormal behavior, they would be reacting as if this was abnormal behavior for her. Like, why are you yelling? Why are you acting like this? I know when I'm having a bad day, my kids are putting me in my place instantly and I am checked instantly. But that's not what we see happening here. We see that this is normal for their family, and she herself even says that later on in the same live. As I'm watching this clip, the other thing I just can't help but point out is the fact that during this entire situation with the bracelets, Megan is not once trying to de-escalate this situation. She's not trying to explain that this might be a bad time and place to do bracelets right now. She's not trying to help her daughter learn how to do bracelets in a way that won't make this giant mess that's just apparently going to ruin the entire day, I guess. I don't know. And instead, she is just kind of arguing back and forth with her and escalating the situation. And I want to note that the daughter did not back down. She kind of stood her ground, and, kudos to her. Although she shouldn't have to do that, I think that it says a lot that she did stand her ground. And I think what it says is, again, that this happens quite often, and standing her ground and behaving in this way might be her only voice that she has. It might be the only way that she is able to feel like she is being heard in some way. And how Megan responds to this is so disgusting to me because she accuses her little girl of having bipolar disorder on live simply because she is standing her ground against her mother being an unreasonable, emotionally unintelligent brat of a mom. Like, honestly.
But Tina got
She's
me.
bipolar.
And as we're seeing more of these clips come out, which also, by the way, this user right here on Facebook does have the entirety of both clips, I think all about like 10 to 15 minutes-ish of everything that happened. So if you want to watch it in its fullness and entirety, you can head over to Facebook, that profile, if it's still up, and watch it yourself. At some point, we are now in the bathroom and somebody asks Megan if her daughter is her biological daughter. And it is important to note that Megan is a step parent. However, the daughter is her biological daughter. And she confirms this in the live by looking at the camera and saying, yeah, sadly.
Is she your bio? Yeah. Sadly.
About her own biological daughter, as if it would be any better if it was a stepchild, because it wouldn't be. If you're not going to completely love a child as if they came out of your own body, you should not be a parent to them in any capacity. Step, adopted, I don't care. If you're not going to fully love a child unconditionally, don't be in their life. Like, let somebody else love them. All I can think of while this woman is hammering down hatred on her daughter is why. What is up with some moms so vehemently hating their own daughters? And this quote kept coming to my mind over and over again, and I'm going to read it so that I don't butcher it. And it's the quote about how mothers and daughters are wretched mirrors of each other. And here's the quote: I am all you could have been, and you are all I might be. And I think that that is a perfect definition for example for what's going on here, right? You have Megan, who is seeing her daughter, and her daughter is everything she could have been, and her daughter is looking at her as everything she might be. And it is such an unhealthy and toxic dynamic that is in no way, shape, or form the daughter's fault. And so why are we as daughters punished? In my personal opinion, I think that this happens because these kinds of mothers have their own personal unhealed mother wound and trauma. And in their twisted way of thinking, they think, hey, as long as my kid has a better life than I had, then I did it. I broke the cycle and I did enough. As long as my kid only got 60% of the trauma that I got instead of 100% of the trauma I got, I have done a good job, and they should just be grateful. They don't even know how good they have it. And you start rolling into all of these like toxic parent excuses, right? When in reality, these parents and mothers need to realize that the goal is passing on 0% of the trauma that we experienced, not just a lesser percentage of what we experienced ourselves. And so it's almost like they're emotionally stunted in the idea of as long as they can win like the trauma Olympics between themselves and their children, then their children have absolutely no room to complain, to make critiques, or to really say anything, even be their own person, because at this point, they're kind of being controlled completely by their caregiver. And as we continue watching the live, she's doing the daughter's hair in the bathroom, and she's doing the daughter's hair rather aggressively, might I add, okay? And the daughter actually reaches for something on the counter, you know, because she's a child and she's getting her hair done rather aggressively, and she's trying to keep her mind occupied, you know, as kids do. I used to be that age. I remember doing those kinds of things. And instead of the mother just like letting her have something in her mind or her hand to like preoccupy her mind while she's getting her hair pulled left and right, she yells at her and tells her to put your brother's effing toothbrush down.
Put your brother's fucking toothbrush up.
And it's like, again, okay, golden child versus scapegoat situation, because it's like, what if that was her toothbrush? Would she have had a problem with it? If it was like a hairbrush, would she have had a problem with it? It feels like she only had a problem with it because it was the brother's toothbrush. And how dare you, bad child, touch the good child's things? Put that down right now. And that to me, maybe I'm reading too much into that situation, but that's how I read that situation. And that feels so icky. Like, again, the golden child versus scapegoat, and just like completely like tearing your child's self-esteem down. For what reason? to boost your own ego. And that is weird. You are a loser, 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 loser. If you have to tear down your child to boost your own ego, loser, loser. I don't know which way it's going to be the right way, so I'm giving you both. Losers. And like I said, in this live, she is brushing her daughter's hair so aggressively. Like, she comes off the top of her head and kind of like pulls her whole head back. And this is how I am viewing this, okay? This is all alleged. I'm not saying that she is an abuser, okay? Legally speaking, I cannot say that. I'm saying allegedly, based off of what I've seen, this is how I'm interpreting it. She grabbed that girl by the top of her head and yanked her head back because she was moving and wiggly. Like, I do not understand this at all.
Head. Get
Ow!
off the sink! Oh my god! You're not
Stop
going.
pulling me.
I will yank you bald-headed.
I just shave her anyway.
I'm about to. She ain't
No,
gonna have no
she
fucking hair.
won't.
Turn your head!
Okay, she's lying.
You're literally making shit fucking complicated for no fucking reason.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're deliberately doing shit. I will
I'm
literally.
not doing anything.
We will stay here. You trying to
I'm
get
not doing anything.
We will stay here. We will go nowhere. Why is so manipulative?
I wasn't doing anything.
Well, good thing they ain't your fucking kids, Julie.
I didn't do
Turn your head this way. Turn your head. We're going to. I'm so annoying. We're going to Monster Jam. Maybe if Riley learns how to fucking act.
Mommy.
What?
And as she is yanking her child by her hair, her child is obviously not okay with this and is like upset and crying, as you guys will be able to see because I'm putting in all of these clips. And she tells her child, "I will yank you bald-headed."
Pick your head. Get
Ow!
off the sink! Oh my god! You're not
Stop
going.
pulling me.
I will yank you bald-headed.
And I already know that there's going to be the people that are like, "Oh, she wouldn't actually do that. That's just something parents say." Parents, give empty threats all the time. Giving an empty threat to your child is, in my opinion, abusive. Like that. Why are you threatening your child into obedience and submission? That is mental torment. That is mental torture because they don't know if you're actually going to do it or not. And you're already yanking her by her head. So saying I'm going to yank you bald-headed is not a far reach for her to believe that you're actually going to do that. Thankfully in this live, somebody had some common sense and basically was like, why are you treating your kids like this? Like, I could never treat my kids like that. And she simply says, well, like, good thing they're not your kids.
Riley's so manipulative.
I wasn't doing anything.
Well, good thing they ain't your fucking kids, Julie.
I did.
And then she goes on to say that she's not going to be fake nice just because they're on live, which again, as you'll see later on, she ends up saying that this isn't how they normally are. This was just a bad day. But if this was just a bad day, then how would that be fake nice? Like, because whenever you're saying, oh, I'm not going to be fake, that's implying that who you are presenting yourself to be right now is the true, authentic you, right? Which, I mean, makes us only assume that the way you are treating your daughter is just how you treat your daughter. And again, I want to point out that the lack of response from the daughter is very telling to me, and it's very sad. She really, even as she's literally being yanked by her hair, doesn't really have a response. It's almost like she's expecting it and she only responds as much as her body needs to. As Megan is struggling to do her daughter's hair, she goes on to try to humiliate her daughter by saying she has nappy hair, which I just have to ask, if your child's hair is nappy and hard to manage, whose fault is that? That's not your child's fault, but I digress. She goes on to threaten to shave her head.
To the side. Stop looking.
It's on the side.
Ooh, you finna be bald-headed. I'm finna shave your shit. You ain't gonna have no motherfucking hair to do.
Which, again, with the empty threats, you're not actually going to shave her head though, are you? Because maybe you would, except she won't, because at this point in time she has a following, and if her kid's head's shaved, then we got our image to protect, right? We have our image to protect, so she's not actually going to do that. But still, again, a child doesn't know that. And especially a little girl, hair is so important to us. It's how we express ourselves. And I'm not saying that little boys can't either. I'm just saying, as my personal experience as a little girl, My hair was everything to me. That was like, it kind of feels like the only form of our personal identity that we have for a long time. And so to threaten to take that away because you as a parent failed to take care of the thing that you're complaining about and threatening to take away is just terrible. It's just mean. And I'm going to get into all of that later. And later on in the live, she tries to bring her daughter down even more, embarrassing her even more, and trying to rally some sort of like community and support against her daughter. Because while her daughter, again, is still right there, she looks into the camera and says, "You don't want no effing girls."
Like, boys, you don't want no fucking girls, let me tell you.
And again, how do you think that makes her feel? Being the daughter and seeing how mom treats the son, your brothers, and all of these other things. Like, this poor girl, I can't imagine how she feels inside. I can't imagine how broken and low her self-esteem is. And I'm not saying that to like tear her down even more. I'm saying that like, I feel so bad for her because she doesn't deserve this. She deserves a mom that makes her feel like the only walking girl in the entire world, you know what I mean? And a mom who takes the time to show her why it's important to take care of her hair and why it's important, because you deserve to feel beautiful and you deserve to not have knots in your hair. Don't you know? Like, don't you want to take care of your own hair so that you can feel as beautiful as you possibly can, and then you can run your fingers through your hair without getting a knot in it? But no, let's sit her down in front of a camera, in front of an audience, degrade her and tear her down and say that her hair is nappy because I, as the parent, didn't take care of her hair. And part of taking care of a child's hair is teaching them the importance of taking care of their own hair. So if your child is not taking care of themselves, it might be because you've not made it important to them.
Damn, your hair is nappy.
And that's still not their fault. So look, I'm not the only one who saw problem after problem after problem within this live stream, and she got a lot of backlash. So she decided to go ahead and come online and give us an apology.
Come on here and take accountability for the things that I said and did yesterday on my live. Nobody deserves that, especially my children. Unfortunately, I have some very dark, deep-rooted things inside of me that I have been working to heal for the last 2-ish years, and some of those things still come out whenever I am triggered. I am not a perfect mother. I have never claimed to be. Unfortunately, I was very triggered yesterday. I was very overstimulated and I exploded. And before you look at me and say, "Oh, I get overstimulated too and I don't snap out like that." Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm so happy for you. I'm working towards that. This video showed you a very small snippet of my live. It didn't show you the before. It didn't show you the after, where I hung up and went and calmed the fuck down, apologized to my child, and we talked through these things. I shouldn't have had to apologize for anything because I shouldn't have done it in the first place. I am very well aware of that. My children are well loved. Anybody that knows us or knows anything about us knows that our children are loved. Unfortunately, I still have some major things that I need to work on, and I'm working towards that every single day. But I just wanted to come on here and take that accountability and kind of own my actions and acknowledge that those are not okay, and I know that that's not okay.
And in this apology is where she discloses to us, the audience, the people who are concerned, that that was a one-off thing. That wasn't like a daily occurrence. She's been dealing with a lot of triggers. She has like her own personal issues that she hasn't been able to like fully work out yet, and blah, 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 blah. And all I have to say is this: as a parent who has trauma, it is our responsibility. If you are a parent and you've been traumatized and you have children, it is your responsibility to get the help that you need. It is my responsibility to get on the proper medications that I need, if that's necessary, to make myself as stable as I can so that I can give my children a stable childhood. It is on me to go do the therapies that I need to do to, again, help me find better ways to communicate, help me manage my triggers, help me stay grounded, help me realize that things are not as big of a deal as they may feel in the moment. That is our responsibility. And yeah, sometimes we might have a bad day. We might mess up. But to sit here and say, "Oh, well, I did that because of my triggers and that and that and that," get help. Like, get help. Get the help that you need. And in the meantime, let your children stay with somebody who makes them feel good about themselves until you can make your child feel good about themselves. Like, it's not healthy for anybody for you to apparently be this triggered constantly to the point that you're verbally and physically abusing your child. And it's not healthy for your child to be verbally and physically abused by you because you can't deal with your own trauma. Like, I don't like the idea of separating children and families, but this is not healthy. and it needs addressed. It needs fixed. So as the apology videos like making its rounds, people are obviously sharing their thoughts and opinions online, specifically on TikTok, and Megan's husband decides to start coming to her defense, and he has some things to say to some people.
So I actually got a message from Megan's husband Jesse on TikTok, pretty much stating that him and his wife are fine. Their daughter is loved and taken care of, that we only saw a small snippet of their life. Here's my issue with that. In one of her lives, she stated that, well, in that live actually, she stated that I'm not going to fake how I talk to my kids. This is how it is online and offline, social media. That's a problem. That's 100% a problem. I've noticed that he's commenting on TikToks now, and there are accounts that people are saying are Megan's new account, but when you go to like view the live on the Megan.Gower6, it's a live video of like a blank screen and no sound. So I don't believe that's her account or anything like that. I believe she has either had her account completely mass reported or she took it down herself. I still stand on what I said about how her apology is not sincere whatsoever, and that if you can act like that in a live towards your child where whoever knows is watching, I can only imagine how you're acting in private with your child. So also, her apology should not be to the internet. It should be to her child for putting her child through that. So yeah, that's what I have to say on that.
Megan Gower's husband, Jesse Gower, is working overtime to defend her on social media. Now, let's not forget that during one of the concerning live stream clips where Megan's daughter's asking her to open up the bracelets, Jesse actually overhears the conversation, walks into the room, and then tells his daughter to not start. Now, it would appear that Jesse has also deactivated his social media accounts, but when you type in his name on Facebook, you'll see a couple posts. This one in particular talking about their honeymoon, and he's in the military. After these clips started going viral and people were talking about it on social media, Jesse was going around commenting on people's videos. Commented on this creator's video, "No, she is not. My daughter is fine. I wish you guys knew my family and our life and not a 5-minute glimpse into it." This person's video, he commented, "I understand the concern, but I promise my daughter is okay and perfectly fine. You saw minutes of our life and not all of it. She's very loved and safe." He even went so far as to message this creator. I'm sure you can guess what he said. I'll tag all these people down below. Keep in mind that Megan is also a stepmother, so that means that she is also caring for children that are from Jesse's previous relationship. This is a common excuse that people use. Well, you just saw a few seconds into our lives, but the reality is that it was an over 10-minute live stream clip, which tells you that if she's comfortable enough to do that on live, then that must be the reality. Also, judging by the lack of reaction from Jesse, further tells you that that's their norm. Megan even told us herself that she's not going to pretend to be nice to her kids just because she's on a live stream, that this is their real life on and off camera.
So something that I really want to highlight here is that Megan's husband is military, or he's ex-military, and I want to highlight that because like something that I talked about on my TikTok a lot, like I think sometime last year, was intrafamilial child torture. And through having this conversation with so many of you guys and doing research and discovering, you know, new things about our childhoods, I realized that a lot of the kinds of punishment methods that we experienced were like military torture methods, like actually. And I'm not saying that these people are torturing their child or anything like that. I'm just saying that him being military could play a role in how he minimizes what is actually happening. And that is not an excuse or a justification by any means whatsoever. I'm simply pointing that out because I think that that is kind of a blind spot maybe some military families could have, is like, I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm talking out of line here, but I can tell you from the comments that I've seen that it seems to kind of be like a pattern that these military families can typically be a lot more cruel and harsh to their children. So I don't know, like a correlation does not equal causation or whatever they say. It's just something that I wanted to point out there, okay? But again, as much as I want to sit here and say that this was a one-off thing and that their kids are actually so loved and cared for and they're so happy and yada, 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 the reactions, or I should say lack of reactions, to me speaks volumes. The lack of a reaction speaks volumes, because I want to say it again. If this was a odd occurrence, if this was like a not a normal thing for mom to be this angry specifically at me, this is not normal for mom to be yanking me around by my head, to be calling me names, to be looking at her live audience saying you shouldn't have a girl and yeah, unfortunately she's mine. She would be shocked. Like, what are you doing? You know, especially if there was a healthy dynamic and there was, you know, a maturity to the point where she was able to, you know, say things about how she feels to her parents without fear of punishment. But that's not what happened. There's no reaction. She's letting it happen. She's used to this. She's not really putting up a debate and saying, no, I'm not bad. I'm actually a good person. Like, why are you saying that? This is something that she's used to. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it that this was a one-off thing. I think that this is something that happens a lot. And I think that probably worse happens off of camera, because if she was that comfortable saying and doing these things on camera, even while being told on her live, that it is wrong, and doubling down and justifying it, defending it, I can't help but to think that she's probably doing worse off camera. My kids are playing in the sprinkler, so just ignore happy child screams if you hear them. The state that this happened in was Tennessee, and according to Tennessee, the child abuse laws in Tennessee state that any person who knowingly, other than by accidental means, treats a child under 18 in such a manner as to inflict injury commits a Class A misdemeanor. And if the child is 6 or less, the penalty is a Class D felony. But here's the problem, because a lot of people are going to ask, is CPS going to get involved? Are they going to get charged? Or are they going to have to take parenting classes? What's going to happen? I can't tell you that. And really nobody can tell you that except for, I guess, caseworkers in Tennessee, right? Because the laws and the regulations and everything vary so much state to state. But what I can tell you is what I just read to you, and that is Tennessee's child abuse law. But here's where I have such issues with the way our laws in America are written, because what is an injury? The courts don't typically take internal injuries like, you know, feelings being hurt, you know, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. They don't really count that as an injury. So it's almost like in some cases, parents could, I guess you could say, technically get away with verbally assaulting their children forever because there was no actual injury happening. And even if an actual injury is happening, like say you are grabbing a child by their hair and yanking them, is it only counting as an injury when it leaves a mark? Is that only when it counts as an injury? And if that's when it counts as an injury, does it have to be a big mark, a small mark? Do you see how nuanced and how much of a gray area these things are? And that is why it is our job as witnesses, whenever we witness these things, to report them to the people whose job it is to do the investigation. And something else that I don't like that I want to point out, and this is not I'm not trying to just sit here and throw shade on Tennessee or anything, okay? Like these issues are issues nationwide here in the United States. But the difference between the misdemeanor and felony, okay? So if you abuse your child who's under 18, you just get a misdemeanor. But if your child's under 6, that's a felony. And so basically the difference between, in the United States at least, a misdemeanor and a felony is a misdemeanor is bad, a felony is really bad. And I think that's so twisted. So you're telling me that it only counts as really bad in the United States to abuse a child under 6, but a 7-year-old, their abuser is only going to get a misdemeanor? And what I do not understand about these laws is it seems like the lawmakers forget that when it comes to being charged, the misdemeanor / felony is for the abuser, right? Not the victim. I personally feel like it is such a slap in the face to all of these victims who might have been been 7 instead of 6 and seeing their abusers get a lesser charge simply because they were older. When the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how old the child is, the trauma is still the same. The trauma is still the same trauma, no matter if they were 6, 7, 13, or 14. Why are we minimizing abuse simply because a child is over the age of 6? That is crazy to me. Like, I genuinely, am I the only one who finds that like insane? Like, oh, okay, as long as you got away with abusing your child for 7 years, you'll only get a misdemeanor. And also, how in the are children supposed to know that they're being abused to be able to report it? Like, look at the case of Gabriel Fernandez. Like, how many times has CPS failed children? How many times have our laws failed children? This is incredibly insane to me that it's just a slap on the wrist, a little misdemeanor, as long as the child was older than 6. But if you get caught and the child's younger than 6, then you're in big trouble. That is wrong. We need to take child abuse seriously. No matter how severe the child abuse is to how minimum the child abuse is. Child abuse occurred, yeah. Hold the abusers accountable. Period. End of story. That was a child's whole life. That was just another day for them. In conclusion, here are my thoughts on this. CPS, will they step in? I don't know. I hope so. I don't see why they wouldn't step in because as far as I'm aware, a lot of people have called this in. And I even feel like I saw something about like CPS has a case open against them, but I couldn't find anything like, you know, like to solidify that, to like know for sure. But I think that they probably will step in. They probably will talk to the family. Now, what will happen after that is it really just depends like case by case and state by state. I can't say what will happen for sure. I'm not a social worker. I am simply a former foster child. I will say this, they will probably touch base. I hope that the children have an opportunity to be extremely honest about their experiences with the investigator. However, I do know that parents can coach their children to lie and manipulate and, you know, maybe not say some things that have happened or, you know, minimize the severity of things that have happened. So that is a concern on my mind. All in all, until mom and dad can get their ish together, I hope that those kids can be placed in an environment where they feel safe, not only physically, but emotionally as well. Because emotional safety is just as important to a developing child, to anybody, as physical safety. So I'm really sorry if this was a heavy topic today, and I'm sorry if this triggered you, but it's very important that we talk about these things. Like, it's 2025 and we got parents on live just like completely being fine with treating their children like this and thinking that there will be no repercussions. And we need to get to a point where parents are scared to disrespect their kids. Like, why is it so normal to be so mean to literal like brand new human beings that you made? Like, you're literally like so mean to your own creation. Why? It's no wonder to me that most of these people are Christians, because isn't God the same? Hey, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And again, thank you guys so much for being so patient with me while I've been trying to like manage my real life and then my social life, like online life and everything like that. But I will figure it out. I will get there, and stay tuned for more videos. I want you guys to let me know down below what topics you guys want me to research and what you guys want me to talk about. I kind of plan on, instead of doing like one big video and then like a Reddit video per week, I think I'm going to kind of do what I did today and like film a get ready with me video and kind of share a little bit about my personal life with you guys, and then post that on the weekends, and then film that same day these kinds of videos, and then post that throughout the week for you guys. So this will be posted on Wednesday. I'm filming this on Sunday though. Today is Sunday. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me once again and caring about my thoughts and my opinions. It means the world to me. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this platform. My dreams wouldn't be coming true without each and every one of you. So thank you so much for being here once again. And I just once again want to ask you guys to like and subscribe. That means the world to me. Again, it helps me out so much. And let me know your thoughts below in the comments, and let me know what you guys want me to talk about. What do you want me to research? You guys can feel free to DM me on Instagram. I will try my hardest to check those more often, but DM me on Instagram with your guys' recommendations, what you guys want me to talk about, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Goodbye.